Everybody, welcome back to 13 Rings, an NFC East podcast, and we're recording after the wild card matchup. And unlike last year, both NFC East teams made it through the playoffs. Maurice, I know you're feeling good. I'm feeling ecstatic right now, and I'm maybe Earl's feeling some type of way. We'll let him do his thing here in a minute. Mal, are you feeling much?
No, I'm vibing.
You're just
I'm at
vibing. You're
peace. I am
not
at
much to talk about with
peace.
the Giants right now, huh?
And yeah, no, I'm at peace.
Mal's very content right now.
Calm,
Yeah,
cool,
me and
and
that
collected.
team.
Is it contentment or just acceptance that the Giants are going to be the
Honestly,
Giants?
I just needed a break from them. I needed a break.
You just well, you got to watch teams actually succeed in the playoffs, so I'm sure that made you feel better.
I didn't watch yours.
Oh, it's okay.
If you're talking about Baltimore and you're talking about Houston and you're talking about the Rams and you're talking about the Lions, then yes.
So you didn't watch the Eagles game either?
No, I watched both.
Oh, okay. You should have just gone with it. So anyway, no predictions, no review of predictions. I said last week that it was going to be a good game. Y'all said, I think pretty much everybody. Maurice said if it was over 20 points, we would win. 21 points. You were right.
I was right, wasn't I?
Earl was wrong, saying that there was going to be a blowout.
Oh, you thought I meant for that game? No, I meant for the whole postseason. We're gonna see what happens.
You have to clarify. And then Mal said that we were going to lose to Tampa. Sorry,
Yeah,
I know
had to
another
rock with Florida.
Yeah, I mean, look, Tampa's my second team, but this week, nah.
You have two NFC teams.
We talked about this. My stepdad passed away.
Oh, it's not for me. It's for the viewers. For the viewers.
Well, for the viewers that don't know, my stepdad passed away when I was 14, and before he passed away, he moved to Tampa, and he was a big Tampa Bay Ray fan. I mean, not Tampa Bay Rays. I don't know if he liked baseball, but yeah, he was a football fan, so he liked the Buccaneers. So, that being said, R.I.P.
Yes.
Let's just get into it. Okay, so the first game was the Eagles game, right? So, Maurice,
yes.
How about we talk about that game?
Yes, the Eagles won 22-10. They beat the Green Bay Packers twice this season now. Where do I start with this game? First of all, this was quintessentially a playoff game. It was a hard-hitting playoff game. And I'm going to get into the injuries later on, but it was a lot of hard hitting going on in this game, especially for the Packers. A lot of their players were dropping like flies. We had one major hit in our defense. I'll talk about that shortly. But overall, start with the offense. The passing game looked a little sketchy. Jalen Hurts looked like he had a little rust in him from the last couple games off due to concussion. He only passed for 131 yards. He was 13 for 21. They have 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. And that's the formula the Eagles is going to have to go on for these next at least 3 games if they want to have a legitimate chance, because when Jalen Hurts turns the ball over, things usually go bad. And for Jordan Love, his opponent, he had 3 interceptions and no touchdowns. Although he passed for more, 212, the 3 turnovers were really killer. And overall, they had 4 turnovers in the game for the Packers. You can't win playoff football with 4 turnovers. So for the Eagles, the passing game was okay. Mediocre at best, I want to say. A lot of it comes down to Kellen Moore. I thought Kellen Moore didn't really call a great game, at least passing wise. There were just a lot of questionable play calls. Zach Bone had an interception towards the end of the half, and basically they were at the 50-yard line. All he had to do was basically run 3 times, and you'd have been in field goal range with Saquon. And they rushed the first play. The second down and third downs, they passed. I'm looking up in the heavens like, why? What is going on? Why are you passing the football when there's 50 seconds left in the half and you need like less than 10 yards and Saquon averages 6 yards a rush? Why? But hopefully Kellen Moore learns from his mistakes, learns from his mistakes in this one, and he gets it right for the next opponent, which will be the LA Rams. Let me highlight a couple guys. Jahan Dotson, Lucas's guy.
He was never my guy, to be clear, but okay.
Well, he's a former commander.
He's a former commander. He got
was
his
your
first
boy.
TD. He got his first TD of the season.
He's your
Yes.
boy, though. He's your boy.
Yeah.
Yes. He got his first TD of the season. Really kicked off the playoffs for the Eagles on the right way after that kickoff fumble. Dallas Goddard had a touchdown. But really, Saquon was the main star, I would say here. 25 carries, 119 yards. This was another Saquon game. And, I don't know if everybody saw the game, but towards the end, Saquon pretty much broke out and could have had like a 75-yard run.
I saw it, and he slid. Come on, Saquon.
That's him. What can I say? That's Saquon.
It wasn't going to impact what happened in the game.
He ruined a lot of people's parlays with that one.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, because he had like an easy 50 yards if he would have kept going. But
see, this is why I don't bet.
One of the reasons why, yes.
How you talking like?
Well, hopefully they won't get a sports betting sponsorship no time soon.
Well, you know what? If we did get a sports betting sponsorship, people that are listening, maybe I would reconsider the position. But first, we got to get our sponsorships. That being said,
I bet you would.
business.
You guys also saw the Goddard touchdown, right?
I missed that part.
When he gave it to the stiff arm twice.
Oh yeah.
He was like, "Get off me, man! Get off me!"
Yeah,
it was like a high school senior playing against like a peewee, like a Pop Warner kid.
Yeah, he was just stiff arm dude in the face, like just give me alone, leave me alone, man. I'm scoring a touchdown. Leave me alone.
He was in the end zone, like, whose man's is this?
He said, "Get off." He said, "Get off me."
Yeah. Besides that, the offense was okay. Nothing special with the offense. We always talk about less is more with Jalen Hurts. I just think that going forward, there needs to be
a little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit more. Especially with the Rams coming up. They have a really good offense. And if you get past them, we got the Lions or Commanders. We got to score.
Mm-hmm.
We got to score, man. I don't know if we can win a Super Bowl scoring 22 points. I'll just keep it to that. Needs to be a little bit more there. And that comes down to Jalen Hurts and Kellen Moore coming together, being in sync, and, calling the right plays and executing. And that's on Hurts. Got to execute. The offense, when it's clicking, this offense is one of the better offenses in the league. When everything's going right, you got AJ involved, you got Devontae, Goddard, the offensive line. Call me partisan, but I think this is the best offensive line in football.
Yeah, there's one play that Jalen just had all day.
That was a Dotson touchdown.
Yeah, and I was like, is anyone going to touch him or even try?
Well, you can't do anything with a 3-man rush. I mean,
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, 3-man rush. You're not doing anything.
Touché.
Yeah. I think we got the best offensive line. I think once this offense is clicking, and the defense is what it is, I'm confident playing any team in the playoffs. Real quick, defense. Nolan Smith, he had 2 sacks. That was very impressive. He hasn't had 2 sacks all season, so 2 sacks in one game.
Sorry, go finish up.
He didn't have 2 sacks in one game all season, so this was a really great game for him. What you going to say, Lucas?
I was just going to say he really stepped up when you guys needed him.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we lost Nakobe Dean towards patella tendon. That sucks. Because
he was like your third best defensive player.
Yes.
Well,
and he was gaining confidence too.
Yes.
Isn't he your green dot guy?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, he was gaining confidence as the season went along. Yeah, that's definitely a big blow to you guys.
And if you guys remember, I questioned what was his role in this defense in the preseason. He was having a hard time adjusting to Vic Fangio's system, and he was competing with Devin White. And N'Kobe Dean completely won that position. They released Devin White, and he was on and running from there with Zach Bond. Them two were great linebackers together. Combined, they did a hell of a job. And it sucks that we lost him for the rest of the playoffs. It's a 5 to 7 month injury. I'm thankful it's not an ACL, to be completely honest. That would have been a year injury. So we'll get him back sometime next season. But there's going to be a hole in our defense at the linebacker position. Zach Bond will be the green dot going forward. But you can't replace him. You got Jeremiah Trotter Jr., you got Nolan Burks. I even suggested on Twitter maybe bring it down Sidney Brown, our safety, because he's fast, he can cover, and he's a good hitter and a tackler. I suggested maybe bringing him down for that.
I would bring CJ Gardner Johnson down and kick Brown in the back end, because I think he plays a little more closer where he can do that coverage and stuff, where he can be physical in that regard. But I think where y'all were playing, because y'all were playing somewhere between like maybe a 4-2, 4-3 every now and then. It looked like y'all are probably going to go to like a 4-2 base, where I actually wouldn't mind seeing if Nolan Smith can come off ball a bit for you guys and just move one of those other edge guys out there, because he's got the lateral. I think he's got the lateral quickness to do it, but it'll give you like a big presence as well to be able to do some stuff.
Well, because we're really not getting a lot of pressure with Josh Sweat or Bryce Huff. I didn't even mention his name because he really didn't do anything. He's not even really getting many snaps.
Your edge rushing is like your weakest part of your defense.
Yeah, and you take away a guy who just had 2 sacks in one game. I mean, I don't think they're really
that's
good.
Probably like defending, like getting to the quarterback is the hardest part of your defense. That's the weakest part, and that's going to be tough. But kudos to your defense, because outside of that, like they were hitting guys. They were, and like injuries are never good.
Very physical game.
But
very physical game.
I think that was probably the like out of the first round teams, the first round of games, like that was probably in terms of like hard hitting. That was the most hard hits that I saw, and I appreciate that as a guy that started watching football in the 2000s. So
yeah, it was a very physical game. So we lost the Kobe Dean. Prayers and wishes to him in full recovery. Yeah, there's going to be a hole. I don't know exactly what's it going to look like going forward. Maybe they can use Gardner Johnson down in the box. Maybe use Cindy Brown. I don't know. We just got to see what happens on Sunday. But it's a blow. That's a blow. Besides that, like I said, Zach Bond had an interception. Shout out Darius Slay for an interception. And Quinyon Mitchell had his first career interception.
Darius Slay with an interception in the year 2025?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. One of the oldest cornerbacks in the league.
Let me ask you this, Maurice. With everything that you've seen from Zach Bond this year, should he be the defensive player of the year?
It's close, man. He's had a hell of a season. And you would know better than me because you post the stats every week. So
he's top 5 in tackles, and like obviously pass rush is not your forte, your team's forte, so he's not going to do that. But like he's not bad in covering, pass in the pass game either. So like the guy's a physical guy.
He's versatile. You can put him on the end. You can put him in the middle. He can cover a little bit for a linebacker.
See, I'm impartial to go with one of Mal's former players, Xavier McKinney, who led the NFL in interceptions.
Yes.
Why did you guys let him go again?
Because I am an incompetent organization.
You're not an incompetent organization.
You're
just like a team that is.
Okay, then how's their seasons been over the past couple of seasons, Lucas?
Theirs? I mean, they had one playoff. Good. I mean, look, Minnesota just does not have luck in the playoffs.
Let's talk about that in a second. Let me finish this up.
Sorry, we got off track. But yeah, I would give it to Xavier McKinney over Zach Bond.
Well, to Zach Bond's credit, he was an All-Pro.
Yes, he did get that. I had to
Yes.
fix that, by the way. Thank you for letting me know that, Mal. I missed that initially on the first one.
Oh yeah, no problem.
So salute to him for that. At least he's being recognized. I don't think he's gonna be defensive player of the year. I mean, just not a notable name. Hasn't done it long enough.
I was about to
So-
say, if he had 2 seasons of doing this beforehand, I think he would get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
I
agree
do
with
want to
that.
note that Micah Parsons, despite missing, like, what was it, 6 games, Earl? Still had 12 sacks on the season.
He's an impact guy.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's gonna be a Raven next year.
What
What?
you say?
I said he's gonna be a Raven next year, but anyway, continue, Maurice.
In your dreams.
You don't want him on the Giants?
If
We need
Michael
more help
Parsons
than
going to
that.
move to any NFC team, it's probably
Yeah.
going to be the Eagles.
No, he's going to come to the Commanders. His guy's
He
DQ.
always talks about the Eagles.
Oh
though.
my god.
Always talks about the Eagles.
No,
He loves
fans
you.
talk about him. He just fires
What the
back
E-
at y'all. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, sorry. Let's let Maurice finish.
One note of concern, our kicker Jake Elliott missed the chipper, missed the extra point. He's been all over the place this season. Hopefully, I look up to the heavens. Hopefully, it doesn't come back to bite us in an important moment. But that's a concern for next season, or at least training camp and off season and the free agency. Maybe we need to look somewhere else for a kicker. Maybe his time is up. I don't know, but hopefully, right now he doesn't miss any important kicks. Yeah, like anyway, I was saying, shout out to Quinion Mitchell for getting his first in his career interception. Overall, I like this win. In the playoffs, it's not about how you win, as long as you win. Survive and advance. Lucas will go attest to this in a moment. All you gotta do is survive, and if you do, you advance to the next round. Doesn't matter what happens in the game, as long as you win. We won, so we move on. We play the Rams. I'll talk about that at the end of the pod. But I like our chances against the Rams. I do like our chances against the Rams. Player of the game, I'm gonna go Saquon. Yeah, we won. That's it. Go Birds.
Caw. That being said, you talked about kickers and making kicks in important moments, and oh my gosh, Zane Gonzalez almost gave me a heart attack.
Yeah.
Who
That
even is
little
that?
dink.
Zane Gonzalez.
That's our kicker.
I understand that. Where did he come from?
He was our 6th kicker of the season, I want to say.
Something like that, yeah.
Something
Bless his
like
heart.
that.
Bless his heart.
He had to fill in for Seibert after Seibert had a hamstring injury that's pretty much kept him on IR since the Cowboys game that we lost. And by the way, 6-game winning streak for us. Look, this was probably the only competitive game in this round of the wild card. Let's be clear on that. And I think it's by far it was the most entertaining of all the games. Like, no offense, Maurice, but it was a back and forth affair.
Yeah, sure.
And look, I'm not going to say that we played excellent. We didn't. Tampa Bay played a heck of a game here, but we won 2 very important things. We won time of possession, and we won the turnover battle. Those were the reasons that we won this game. Those were the key factors. Now, obviously, the ultimate factor was Jaden Daniels yet again coming up clutch, driving down the ball, making key plays, avoiding tackles, avoiding sacks, tackles for losses, to get us into the position to get the field goal, okay? Jaden Daniels, like, I'm not trying to act like, oh, I'm on the Kool-Aid stuff, but I think this game kind of helps prove it, because this was a high leverage situation, was it not? It was a high leverage situation.
True.
Jaden Daniels comes down. Now, I'm not going to put him into the category like Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson yet.
Hey, Lucas.
Yeah.
You know who also came up clutch in a high-level situation and won a playoff game?
Okay. I see where you're going with this.
I just had
Don't
to
you
be
start.
annoying.
Don't you start with that slander. Don't you dare ever
I
dare
mean,
to compare those two
I
ever
did not
again.
lie. I did not lie. I'm
You're
just
not
saying.
lying, but the context is so different, and you know it. Don't you dare!
Is it
You are
though?
going. Yes. Yes, but look. Let me just have my moment
Continue.
here,
Continue.
okay?
Go ahead.
Look,
Sorry.
Go ahead,
look.
proceed.
But at the end of the day, this wasn't just like this was like his what fourth game-winning touchdown at the end of the game, like in the last 5 minutes of a game this year. Like the guy's like, tell me a quarterback in the NFC, not the whole entire NFL, because I know the AFC has quarterbacks performing better, but tell me quarter in the NFC that definitively is playing better than Jaden Daniels right now. Definitively. Maybe Matthew Stafford, maybe, right?
Golf.
Goff? I think that's more of a system thing. And trust me, I'm going to get to Goff because things that Rio on Rambling with Rio podcast, which I retweeted right before we came on here, was exposed about Ben Johnson, their offensive coordinator, that needs to be addressed. Okay, but I'll get to that later. What I will say is that like there aren't like you could like there's no definitive guy that you can say that is actually playing better and has been more reliable this season than Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels had what, like that 3-game skid, which was his quote unquote hitting the rookie wall. Well, guess what? He bounced back from that. He's playing even better now. Like, tell me, is there a quarterback in the NFC that you would rather have at the end of the game than Jaden Daniels right now?
I think I don't want to jump in here, but I will. I think a lot of what Jaden Daniels does, don't get me wrong, it's a skill thing. But I think he gets helped a lot by the offense.
Well, who do we have on offense? We have a mid-tier offensive
No.
line.
I mean the coach. I mean the offensive coordinator.
Okay, Cliff Kingsbury, yeah.
Yeah,
Great
I think
offensive
he
line.
simplifies the offense so much for Jaden Daniels. It's almost fail proof. Now I'm not taking away. I'm not taking away from Jaden Daniels the talent. Still a talented quarterback. He's on a trajectory to be a top 10, maybe top 5 player quarterback next season. If he keeps going the way he's going, I'm giving him his due.
Okay.
I don't mind giving quarterbacks his due. I give Dak his due as well. I think Jaden Daniels right now is just benefiting from, hey, if you don't see the guy, don't see your first option open, take off. That's what he does. He does it a lot. I've noticed it. Every third down, he rushes.
Yeah.
Every time there's a fourth down leverage situation, he rushes. The ball's always in his hands. And he has his safety valves, Ertz and McLaurin. Those are his safety valves. So everything is dumbed down for him to be great. And they're winning that way. Kudos to you guys.
I don't think the word dumbed down, because like if you watch the offensive scheme, like I know you're watching as an Eagles fan whenever you watch us, but if you watch it outside of the Eagles fans, I like some of the concepts that they're running are really high advanced stuff.
Lucas,
like setting the screen one way and then going the other way.
Lucas,
like it's
that's
yeah.
Do you fully understand what the RPO is?
I know what the RPO is, the run pass option. Yeah, I get that.
Okay, so all it's doing is Kingsbury is simplifying the RPO for him to the point that he's utilizing his talents, but he's using the guys that's around him. That's all Maurice was trying to say into that. It's nothing that's like spirit up. We're giving him his credit.
No. I know that you're not meaning anything bad about Jaden. I'm just saying I don't feel like Cliff Kingsbury offense is as simple as you're making it out to be.
Okay, in that case, if Kingsbury wasn't there and you plugged in Kellen Moore, how would Jaden Daniels do?
That's a real good question. That is a real good question. I don't know if there's many offensive coordinators that could have utilized Jaden to his full potential as
I can name at least 3 off the top.
Okay. Like, look, I'm not trying to argue. Look, let me just, I haven't even gave my flowers to half the people yet. Okay, let me give my flowers to everybody else.
Por favor, go ahead.
Okay. So, besides Jaden playing clutch this year, Austin Eckler, we needed him this game. We needed him because Brian Robinson has been a zero factor for us since returning from injury. Austin Eckler was a difference maker. He's getting, he's rushing well. He's catching the ball and making plays off the catch. He's been doing great. Terry, obviously, give him flowers like he always deserves. Got to give flowers also to De'Ami Brown, who, look, I don't think anybody expected De'Ami Brown to play as well as he did. De'Ami Brown playing as well as he did was a big factor in us winning. And then obviously Bobby Wagner, getting that fumble was really big too. Look, our defense was not doing great against their offense. Yet again, this is where that time of possession goes into the key factor here. Because if we didn't control the time of possession with our offense, I don't know if we win that game. Because Tampa Bay's offense is really, really stinking good. And Lattimore was getting crushed by Mike Evans. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. They had to go to double teaming Mike Evans in the second half. Okay. So Lattimore clearly is still coming back from the injury. He's still rusty. He still needs to get his feet under him. He's not there yet. But hopefully, despite having a short week, hopefully we can turn it around and, hopefully he can turn it around and be ready for, Detroit. But anyway, that's what went wrong. Like I said, our defense could not do anything. They have a good offensive line. And that, what is his name? Barber? What's the kid's name? The running back.
Bucky Irving.
Bucky Irving. No, he's a really good outside runner. Really elite outside runner.
Rookie.
So yeah, no, that's he's a rookie. He's led all rookies in rushing yards. Look, that's all I really got to say about it. Thoughts? Jaden Daniels, obviously a player of the game. Thoughts, opinions?
Well,
who wants to go first? Earl, go first.
Thank you. Well, basically, y'all took care of what y'all needed to. And there was a situation where Dan Quinn's got a good track history against Tampa at certain times. He went to Raymond James Stadium as a DC with Dallas, and they pretty much blew them out. He knew what he needed to do, but I also give credit to him as well as Cliff Kingsbury on being able to attack the secondary of Tampa, because that was their weakness. They had guys getting injured, dropping like flies, and the Commanders pretty much just took advantage of that. Now, that was what your bread of success was, by seeing the mismatches, finding the scrub, attacking the weak spot. Y'all did that. And with the defense was able to sustain Tampa to just 20 points. And when you needed a turnover, they got you the turnover. So overall for that, even though it seemed like it was an ugly game, but it was one game that y'all didn't quit. Y'all definitely had the grit for, and y'all secured the victory. So hats off to y'all.
I agree. And I feel like I think most Commanders fans will agree with me. If we have possession with less than 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter and JD5 is on our team, we feel just about as good as anybody winning the game if it's a one possession game. That's how I feel. I'm sure other Commanders fans feel that too at this point.
I mean,
Mal, did you want to chime in too?
When you attack a weak secondary of weakness,
they had to switch from man to zone. That really helped us too.
Yeah.
Mal, did you want to add anything?
Yeah. So just real quick, handle business. Listen, win's a win in the playoffs, especially. Like Maurice said, all you got to do is survive, and you did. Now, one concern I do have, which I'll talk about more when we talk about the matchups for next week. I'm not sure your defense can hold the Lions offense.
That's going to be a real question. I'm going to address that next when we get to it.
With Amon
I do want to
Gibbs, I don't know.
Yeah. Look, our run defense is suspect. There's no doubt about that. But I do want to say one thing here, is that your boy Neighbors had the best reaction that I ever saw to us winning that game. He was there at the game supporting Daniels. Does that make you any concerned at all that maybe he might want out in 3 more years, or are you feeling it?
No, I mean, they're best friends. I would do the same for mine.
Oh, I know.
So that doesn't bother me.
Okay, all right. Maurice, you got anything, or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay. And like I said, I know you weren't throwing shade at Jaden. Like I said, I feel like Cliff's not getting enough credit for the offense that he's running.
Listen, I think J.D. Daniels has all the tools to be an elite quarterback. I just think right now he's benefiting more from the offense, the coordinator helping him more so than his overall talent. But year two, I think he's going to take that next leap, and that's saying something in itself because you got guys like C.J. Stroud or even kind of Jordan Love who kind of regressed.
Oh yeah.
After their initial seasons as a starter. So
Well, you know what? I'm not even thinking about next year yet. Just the next game right now.
fair enough.
Enjoy
Fair
the
enough.
magical ride y'all got.
Oh yeah. Speaking of a magical ride, let's get to Earl here and the Cowboys because I don't know if you call it magical or nightmarish, but it's some type of ride, right, Earl?
Yeah, it's definitely nightmarish. So, yeah, if I can start. Yeah, I just got a little bit of news dealing with the coaching situation with Dallas. Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys decide to mutually part ways. And for that, I'm just going to say the reasoning for it, they're saying they couldn't get a length of a contract. I'm going to call a bull on that. I think it's dealing with money because the Joneses, they were paying Mike McCarthy $4.5 million, and that's very low for a coach with the type of skins he has on the wall compared to some of these other coaches out there in the league. So for the reasoning where they're saying they couldn't get a length of contract down, I call BS on that, is mainly dealing with the money. But the situation I have with the Joneses, and I don't care who is the coach, you never hold a person, especially with them trying to figure out what their income and their livelihood is going to be. You take away a man's interview just to part ways with him. Clearly for that, it was just Jerry doing his Jerry things. And as a whole, I felt it wasn't right for Mike McCarthy, where if you really didn't want him, you should just let him go. And for that, I think Mike McCarthy was just like, you know what, I'm done with this. And he was ready to go. And I respect it. I get it. Because this season, he really didn't get a chance to show what he really can do because they really handcuffed this man. They didn't give him anything. Even when he brought in a coach to help the defense, gave him nothing. And for that, it's a shame where you could have easily, most teams already knew what they were going to do going into Black Monday. And you wait. Not only do you wait, all the coaches that you could have interviewed, you missed the window a week later. You're a week late trying to figure out your coaching situation, especially during Black Monday, where you had an opportunity to say, okay, we're going to part ways with Mike McCarthy and let him go to where he needed to, while you still had candidates out there that you could request an interview. They're just late doing stuff. And Cowboy fans, including myself, were sick of it. Now they want to try to bring Deion's name, stating that Jerry Jones and Deion had conversations about the head coaching job. I would like that. Honest with you, I would love that. But I know they're not going to give Deion full reins to run this team. And for any coach that wants to coach the Cowboys, it's going to be a dead end in your coaching career because they're not going to let you coach to full capacity. They're going to have their hands in whatever you're trying to do for the team. You're not going to tap your full potential being a coach. There are some candidates that I could see being the head coach of the Cowboys. Three of them, I'm going to say no to, and that's Jason Witten and Kellen Moore and Ron Rivera. The situation I have with Witten, he has no college experience as well as NFL experience coaching. So you're going to bring this man up from coaching a high school team? You're killing me with that. Ain't no way. I don't want that. And I definitely know some Cowboy fans don't want that. But there are some that would like that. But y'all need to get your voice out, and I'm doing the same for myself, that if we don't say anything, they're going to hire these type of coaches. Kellen Moore, I don't want this man back in Dallas ever. Because dealing with the Eagles situation, I'm feeling like Sirianni has got this under control, because some of the situations in this postseason game for the Eagles, a little shaky. It's not that AJ Brown and Smitty can't run routes. It's just the route selections that Kellen Moore have them going is abysmal. And what I know from Dallas with him and his history, yeah, he may have had the number one offense, but when you're trying to have the receivers be on the IQ level of the quarterback to throw the ball based on what they're thinking off of anticipation, yeah, you're not going to have that much success, because if the DBs know where the receiver routes are going to go, they're going to jump the route all day, every day. I don't want that back in Dallas. Yeah, it would be a nice little story for him being one of the youngest head coaches to coach a top-notch football team, but he's got a long way to go to where he needs to be. And I feel like with what he inherited from the Eagles, yeah, he's sitting pretty. And if Sirianni wasn't there, who knows what happened with this offense? So, yeah, it's a no for me for him. And Ron Rivera, I think he's better as a DC instead of a head coach. So that's
Ron Rivera is better as an analyst at this point, my friend.
You can say that whatever you want, but the guy, he's very instinctive when it comes to defense, head coaching role. No, but I would give him the benefit of the doubt because he's a former defensive player, a really good one. And he definitely has that mindset. Don't have too much pressure on this man. Who knows? He could be a good coordinator. Some of my selections for head coaches, I would not mind seeing Dion as a whole. I would not mind seeing the defensive coordinator for Detroit, Aaron Glenn. He could be an option. I doubt Ben Johnson would be there, but in order to get on the fans' good graces, you might need to schedule an interview with them, whoever it might be. I'm hearing things that he's in talks with Cliff Kingsbury. I keep hearing his name, but I doubt they were able to talk. But overall, as a whole, I'm just to the point now, I'm not sure where they're going to go with this. I'm honestly scared because, honestly, with the selection of coaches, you're not sure what you're going to do. And I really am fearful on what the Joneses are going to do. And I could wake up the next day and see new Dallas Cowboy head coach, Jason Witten, Kellen Moore. I actually might have to turn in my team flagship if that's the case. But that's for another time. But overall, this situation, waiting last minute, especially when you had an opportunity to interview potential coaches, yeah, they missed that window on that. And Jerry was really petty for what he did to Mike McCarthy. And where Mike McCarthy leaves off as, and I have his record here. He finished with the Cowboys as the head coach at 49-35. 3 straight contending winning seasons where they went 12-5 and back-to-back seasons, but no results within the postseason. And he went a year where his entire team was injured and still won 7 games. So I'm to the point of saying thank you, Mike McCarthy, but I don't know. I don't know where this head coaching situation is going to go, and I'm very fearful that they're going to make the wrong decision. But I don't know. Maybe Dion's he's got too much going on in Colorado, and I would love to see him as the head coach of the Cowboys, but I don't know if they're going to give him the control that he has in Colorado. That's why I do not want him to leave Colorado, because he's got everything working in his favor. And I just don't think with Dallas, they're going to give him everything he needs to get this program to where it needs to be. I digress.
I was waiting for the digress.
Yeah, we always got to wait for that.
Yeah. Look, who wants to go first? I got to look up some stats before I go.
So, if breaking news happens tomorrow morning and Jerry Jones announces that Deion Sanders is the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, are you happy or upset?
I'm gonna be happy. I'm probably gonna do my first ever backflip, and
Well,
yeah, it would be nice to see. But I wonder if he's gonna give him the full control. Now, whichever coach comes in here, he's got his hands in everything. But maybe Dion can talk with him through, which is highly unlikely. But he considers Dion one of his own sons. And I think that could probably swing in Dion's favor. And I'm just banking on a prayer and a little bit of fantasy sparkles with this. And if it happens, I would be real happy about it. But you also got to let this man do what he needs to get this team where it needs to be. I would like a football player as a head coach, a former football player who can relate to the players. And I think Dion would be a good fit. I know this is a wild take, but I wouldn't mind seeing Dez be the head coach.
Wasn't Des Bryant?
Hmm?
Is he coaching right now?
that's a wild take.
Yeah, it's a wild take. But
Earl, that's a little okay. We are allowed
Well,
to have wild takes on here. That's
we are.
fine.
But let me
That's
say
fine.
I'm
this real
just
quick.
spitballing. That's all.
Do I think Dion would be a good option for you guys? Yes. Do I see him leaving Boulder? No.
No.
I don't foresee him leaving Colorado at all. But something that you kind of have to understand too is that like the Dallas Cowboys coaching position it's going to be attractive to candidates. It's probably going to be the
Is
most
it?
sought out open position. I would
Is
I would
it?
say so probably. Yeah. I mean, they have
See,
an established
Dallas as a
quarterback.
whole
They
is a
have a decent roster.
top team within their
but like,
franchise.
okay,
I'll say this
Troy,
for upping.
Troy.
I'll say this before you go, Lucas. I'll say this for an up and coming coach. Yes, for an established coach that you know you're not going to have final say. You know you're always going to be looking over your shoulder at Jerry
It's
Jones.
gonna be a no.
No.
It's gonna be a no.
You
That's
know,
why I need them to look into that route of somebody who can come in here that can rally the troops. But it's like they missed the window on Belichick. If they really didn't want McCarthy, they could have gotten him. But I doubt that would have worked. So I'm gonna do my research on what potential head coaches could fit until I hear something on it. But yeah, I just think they waited last minute like they normally do. And yeah, it's a lot to go with the team. I definitely believe they need a coach that is an offensive coach, that is a creative mind that could do it. But I don't know, go defense. It's options for that. All I know, all the contracts for the coaches have expired. So yeah, we just gotta see what happens.
so look, Troy Aikman, famous Dallas Cowboys quarterback, recently said on I think Monday Night Football that
It was.
he doesn't believe that is the most appealing, but it is the most polarizing job. I just, as a head coach, I don't know why I would want to go there. If I'm looking, I mean, I get that it's 1 out of 32 jobs available, and you take what you can get. But at the same token, like if you have an owner like Jerry, are you really going to have a chance to really establish like who you are and what you want to do?
Yeah, and that's up to the coaches who decides that. If they know what's happening with that, then they're okay with getting their hands cuffed. They're there to get
and
neutered.
here's the interesting thing. You hear most of these places, like as soon as they fired their head guy with the head coach, like within 24 hours, they started seeking permission to talking to other guys. But the only thing we've heard from Jerry, we haven't heard any, looking at any other candidates besides just talking.
Yeah.
Not formal interview or anything, but just talking to Dion. I think he wanted Dion all along. I think he wants Dion. I think he wants that. I don't know if he'll get it. I do want to shout out Mike McCarthy, though, because as you said, he went for 49 and 35, which is the fourth best winning percentage among all Dallas Cowboys coaches. Only ahead of him is Barry Switzer, Wade Phillips, and Tom Landry. So Two of those guys were Jerry guys too. Interesting.
Yeah.
So like that just kind of blows my mind a little bit, and I get that both Phillips and actually, why did Barry's? I wasn't. I was like a little tiny tot. Why wasn't Barry Switzer? You know what? That's something I can ask off podcast.
No,
Anyway,
you can answer real quick. I can
well, I
quickly
was just
answer it.
asked like why did Barry Switzer leave? I mean, he had a 5-2 playoff record with 1 championship. Well, like why was he fired?
Well, it was a lot of heat dealing with him and Jerry as a whole because after Jimmy left, he had to fill in the shoes of what Jimmy did. And it was a lot of roster changes to that players just really wasn't they didn't want him to he did a bad job at coaching. It was pretty much Aikman, Emmett, and Michael Irvin to get that offense going. And then the defense was pretty much left after what Jimmy Johnson had built, where he just kind of had he had Jimmy's team and won with Jimmy's team. And it just really didn't have a good fit. It was like between him and Jerry, it was just 2 peas in a pod, but it was like nothing getting to where you needed to go.
Okay. All right. I was just curious. But like getting back to it, Mike McCarthy will find another job, whether it's Chicago or New Orleans. I think he's a better fit in Chicago. I think they need a culture setter, and I think he can do that. I think that's what they need. I don't think they need.
I think he's gonna get an interview within this week or next week.
Yeah, it sounds like within the next couple days. Look, I hope that he gets a head coaching job where he gets to control everything. Earl, I know we talk about like this is not like I don't say this to like irk you on, but I genuinely mean this, and I honestly feel sorry for your fan base. But I think Jerry Jones is possibly one of the worst owners, if not the worst owner in the NFL.
Right now, he's an Al Davis 2.0.
No, he's borderlining Dan Snyder right now.
Hey, if you want 3.0, then I guess.
Yeah,
so without the allegations, but yeah,
without the allegations, but in terms of running an organization, it's just. And if you think about it, Jerry was in his late 40s when he bought the Cowboys.
Yeah, he was young. He wanted to win. Like he did that. I think after he got that 3rd ring without Jimmy, it was just it just kind of fizzled out after that.
He's treating this as a business. It's not. He doesn't even care about the football anymore. He just cares about making headlines.
And the crazy
that's not
thing,
fair to your fans,
right? And the crazy thing is, he's building this to have his kids run it. Like it's already.
But didn't he say recently that he didn't buy it for his kids? He bought it for himself.
Look, if you look in the draft room, you see him. You see some of the coaches, but you see most of his family in the draft room. They really didn't give Will McClay the praises of drafting DeMarion over Schoen. They gave it to his grandson.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got that going on, how are you going to bring somebody in here to run things if you're going to make this more of a family business?
Then why didn't he just start coaching the team? Like
your answer is as good as mine, Lucas.
Like he might as well have done it when he was younger, like right? Because like he basically wants to do everything himself. So why not just coach the team?
He's at the time he was good with. I'm gonna say this and I'm done. He's good with the finances at that time, being a young person who bought the team. Jimmy was a coach who would coach the guys to their full potential. All Jerry had to do was worry about signing the checks and working to get the guys in the organization. He did that. His ego took over and really just kind of overstepped what Jimmy was doing, and it left cracks in the dam, in which was the departure of the two. So the ego has been messing with Jerry all the way since he was in that phase, and now he's pushing 82. So it's just to the point now. And again, I said it last week. There's fans that saying Dallas won't have any success till Jerry meets dirt. I don't agree with that because I never want to wish another man's death or another person's death. But something's got to give with this situation, that if this is going to keep going, they're going to constantly lose fans. And I said that before the season started, is that with everything going on, don't show up to any other events. That's somewhat occurred during training camp. they need to push it more so they can get into their thick skull or whatever's left in their skull to know that, okay, we're doing something wrong. Until they figure that out, it's just going to be same, rinse, and repeat.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Last thing I'll say here, Earl, is based off of the rosters that you guys had, you guys should have had at least 2 more Super Bowls since the 90s. One at least one with Tony Romo during his time. And honestly, like probably within the last 5 years,
2014, 2021, 2022.
Yeah. Like at least 2 more Super Bowls, I think you guys had the roster
and
for
2016 as well. So
my point being is that there's just so much going on with you guys. But let's go ahead. We didn't forget about you, Mal. Sorry, it's just that the Cowboys are the Cowboys.
I wish you did.
I'm sorry.
I would have kept it going, but I ran out of material, Mal. It's your turn.
That's right.
We spent about 25 minutes on the Cowboys again.
Hey,
they didn't even play this year.
You can't make this up. Look, when I said this, I was like, I don't know how long I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try to minimize it. Y'all kept adding on, and then I was
This part was partially our fault.
I like that.
No. This time you kept it to like 10 minutes, but like we added on to it. This was partially our fault this time. But anyway, Mal, go ahead, because apparently there was some news leaked about how Joe Schoen handled Ray McLeod's contract recently.
Nick McLeod.
Not Ray McLeod, whatever his name is.
Nick McLeod, yeah.
McLeod is
and honestly,
a wide receiver.
I'm going to be so quick with this, guys. So, Maurice, you could start pulling up that mailbag, man. Mm-hmm. Honestly, nothing is really happening in the Giants world besides drama, which it's going to be that way the entire offseason. I will continue to reiterate that. With Mara deciding to run it back after going 3-14 is just absolutely insane. We have not even fired our defensive coordinator. Whatever. Honestly, I'm just glad that I have a break from this team because this was the worst season ever. And more is starting to come out from our beat reporters regarding how Schoen handles negotiations. And basically, he said something along the lines to his agent, Nick McLeod's agent. And first of all, like, he's really not that stellar of a player. So I don't even know what was going on here, but he wanted him to take a pay cut. And Schoen basically said, you better not pay your mortgage because I'm trading you the minute that I get the opportunity to. And like, that's just a bad look for him.
Oh,
so
he just said that out in the blue?
Yeah, so more stuff is just going to come out to Nick's agent. And so more stuff's going to start coming out about the two of them. They're definitely not liked here by the fan base, not liked here at all in New York. So we'll see how next season plays out. Take it away, Maurice.
Note that he was on a minimum contract too.
He was, yes.
So, geez, how much of a pay cut can he take on a minimum contract?
I think he was making
gummy bears and some chips.
Yeah, I think he was making 3 point something, and Schoen wanted him to go down another $1 million.
And Mal, didn't this happen right before game 2?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's some crazy work right there.
The kid was starting, right?
Mouths. Yeah.
And the guy was getting ready to start that game too.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Damn, I could
bad
see
luck
Jerry
for
doing
the
something
Giants
like
GM. Mm-hmm. Bad luck.
Yeah, it's a really bad look. All right, so we're going to move on to the mailbag. And the mailbag, we're going to go right back to Mal with this one because the question in the mailbag this week is, who do we want the Giants to take with the number 3 overall pick?
Ooh.
Well, I want you guys to answer that question.
Okay, so you're not answering.
And we'll go to you last, Mal.
Yes, go to me last.
Us, as of this recording, which is January the 14th, 2025, who do you want them to take? You're not locked into this. You can change your mind, obviously, but as of right now, who do you want them to take? But matter of fact, I'll start first with this one. I'll start. I'm going to say they trade down. That's what I think. I think they should trade down. Get some more pieces because they need a lot of pieces. It's not a one player thing. I mentioned a franchise quarterback. That helps. It completely changes your culture.
Right.
But I'm not the biggest Cam Ward fan, and I think Shedeur has some weaknesses in his game. I don't think there's really like a transcendent, obviously, consensual number 1 pick in this draft. So I'm going to say trade down.
Okay.
Trade with the Raiders so that they can get Shador. Okay.
Lucas.
Ooh. I'm gonna lean in on the chaos and let's get Shador in New York. Let's see all the craziness of prime time and all that, and let's just see what happens. I'm just gonna sprinkle in a little bit of chaos.
Okay.
Earl?
I would say I'm kind of torn between the two. I had to do some research on this, especially with the evaluation of the Giants as a whole. I would say you could get your quarterback, but if I think it's really going to lean towards what Dable wants, I would say go get Cam Ward. But if you don't get Cam Ward, I would look into a dual Carter.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he had a stellar performance against my college team, which I'm going to the national championship, guys, by the way. So things are good for me.
Congratulations.
We made it.
Beat Ohio State, please.
Earl, real quick, does a dual Carter remind you of Micah?
You know, yes. Apparently, whoever coming out of Penn State or whatnot, he almost a splitting image. One of Dallas players, Sam Williams, out of Ole Miss, looked like Micah Parsons. Looked like a clone, a larger clone.
Sam Williams got injured in preseason, though. That's why he didn't play this year, though, right?
He got injured in training camp.
Okay. By the way, people, I'm Mal. Before you answer, I'm going to say this. I'm starting to see Giants fans on Instagram saying that you guys shouldn't draft a quarterback and sign Justin Fields.
Like I said, I honestly, I don't think that's even going to be an option. I think the Steelers are going to re-sign him.
Okay.
Oh, so you're going to let Russell Wilson go?
After this 4-game skid,
believe they will start.
Yeah, I would go with the younger quarterback because if you work with Fields on his throws, you know he can run. Like you work on his throws, he pretty much got a top quarterback.
Yeah. So who you got now?
Okay, so this is what I think honestly is going to happen. And honestly, I wouldn't be mad at it. I think the Patriots are going to want to trade up for Travis Hunter. So, honestly, in my perfect world, Tennessee takes Cam. Cleveland takes like someone like Abdul Carter. Travis Hunter and Shador are both on the board at 3. Patriots jump up. To us, we get 4. We take Shador and we get some capital off that. That's the only.
I could see that, but I think Cleveland might get a quarterback.
Yeah,
they might have to because of what happened to Deshaun.
Yeah, I was going to say he's probably out for the whole entire.
He's going to have surgery again, and
Cleveland is an incompetent organization, so maybe they'll just make my life.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. They could go a dual. They could go a dual Carter if they decide to trade Myles Garrett.
I just honestly don't know what exactly their needs are.
They need another corner.
Like in the trenches or anything like that. They're not a team that I follow very much.
Cleveland needs a cornerback. Outside a quarterback, they need a corner opposite of Denzel Ward.
Which then they probably take Travis Hunter then.
Yeah, they probably take Travis Hunter, which leaves you guys with Shador.
They might be in the Sam Darnold market.
I don't know. That market's kind of cooled off in the last 2 weeks, man.
It sure did.
That's a market that I don't know if you want to invest in anymore.
All I'm saying is if Shador is still on the board at 3, you talk to people. I'm about that. And you know that they're a team that doesn't need a quarterback.
So real quick, before we go to the next, we don't want to know that. Before we go to the next topic in the social media segment, I got a question for you guys. If you guys all watched the playoff games, which quarterback played the worst during Wild Card Weekend? Ooh. Herbert, Wilson, Love, or Darnold?
Oh, Herbert,
hands down.
Like, yeah, that was
is Herbert really a franchise guy?
No, he's not. But
we need to have a conversation about Justin Herbert, guys.
Like, I think he can be he's like a Kirk Cousins level guy. You know, like mid-tier.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with having a mid-tier guy.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he'll ever be elite. And honestly, I don't think he's which Harbaugh is that? John Harbaugh? I don't think he's that type of Jim Harbaugh. I don't think he's a Jim Harbaugh type of quarterback. I don't.
In that case, I probably need to put him with Trevor Lawrence.
Honestly, him and Trevor Lawrence are pretty much the same player, in my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah. All right,
Anyway.
we can move on.
Okay.
All right, Earl, it's time.
Yeah, it's time for Who's That Football Player? Damn it. This football player played with the Washington Commanders back in the 2012 season. This player had 335 carries for 1,613 yards with 13 touchdowns, 11 receptions for 77 yards. His career awards is a 2-time Pro Bowler, All Rookie Team, 1-time All Pro Second Team, and one-time NFL Top 100. Maurice, Mal, as well as myself. Who's that football player?
You guess first, Maurice.
I have no idea. What year was it? Wait, what are you looking at me like that for, Lucas?
This is
Don't
so
give him
easy.
any.
I
Don't give him
actually
any.
know this one.
I know this one too.
Well, what's the year again?
2012. Lucas's favorite season.
Lucas's favorite season.
To be fair,
Yeah, he was the top 100 that season.
Wait,
It
repeat.
didn't. I didn't specify in the thing.
Earl said top 100.
In his career, didn't necessarily
Oh.
mean that season.
Yeah, he was a
Oh.
2-time Pro Bowler. I'll give you a hint. He's played on 2 teams in the NFC East.
3 teams.
Oh, 3?
3.
Oh,
Mhm.
snap. I must have missed that
In
one.
the NFC East. Why am I drawing a blank?
You want to
Well,
come
let's
back?
say-
Back to you,
Come back to me.
Mal.
Mal?
Alfred Morris.
Alfred Morris.
Alfred Morris never played with the Giants, did he?
Mm-hmm.
I cannot answer until you answer.
All right, go ahead. Earl.
I already said it.
Who?
I said
The answer is Alfred Morris.
Alfred Morris.
When did
Yeah.
Alfred Morris play with the Giants?
His last season.
Yeah, his last season.
He was a Cowboy before that.
He also made a stop in San Francisco, but we don't really talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Wow, I didn't even know that. I did not know that. That was a slumper for me.
Yep.
Yeah, during that season, he was a phenomenal running back. Like, he had RG3 running right along with him in that pistol. If only RG3 knew how to slide. I bet this brother did. But yeah,
Alfred Morris had butterfingers.
Yeah,
Not at
butterfingers,
the
but he
beginning
can
of his
run.
career.
He can run like it's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I liked him as a whole. He really wasn't that type of guy that was big into like these top-notch vehicles. Like, he had an old school vehicle driving everywhere he went. So he was pretty cool. Not gonna lie.
All right, Mal, what is our poll questions?
Yeah, so we have one poll question this week. How will the Dallas Cowboys address their running back room this upcoming season? Free agency, draft, or no changes? And everyone said draft. I agree.
Fair enough. You know what? I could also see them just doubling down on Rico Dowdle too.
No.
No, he's the number 2 guy.
He is,
Yeah,
but he's still got 1,000 yards. So I can see Jerry talking himself into it.
They need someone else.
I have 3 running backs on my list, but I'll get to that when draft time happens.
Oh, like in the draft?
Yep. Already.
I can see Scatterbooth being a Jerry guy.
The devil is a liar.
Genty's kind of already. Genty's campaigning for the Cowboys.
He's one. I'll give it away. It's between him, Omarion Hampton from North Carolina, Caleb Johnson from Iowa, and I also have 2 other running backs from Ohio State, Quinshawn Judkins and Travion Henderson.
Well, we will see. But let's get to the trivia here. Mal, this time it was a Cowboys. I mean, not Cowboys. Sorry,
that's Giants.
Giants. Sorry, yeah, Giants trivia. And because you guys have secured the 3rd overall pick, I thought the trivia question should be related to that. The New York Giants have had the 3rd overall pick 2 other times in the Super Bowl era. But who were, oops, typo there. Who were the 2 players they drafted at that spot?
I had help with one of my relatives on this. I got one, he got the other.
Oh, so you cheated. Okay, so you cheated. Okay.
Well, I knew one of them. Cut me some slack.
Okay, well, okay. Okay, Mal, do you have any idea?
I'm trying to think.
Maurice?
Because Daniel Jones was 6.
No,
I'll give you a hint. Neither one of these players were drafted before 1990.
They were definitely
Brother.
before we were born.
Well, maybe not Maurice, but
damn. Okay.
Are you serious?
Mhm.
Dang, he trying to roast Maurice. He trying to cook.
no. One of the guys was drafted the year that Maurice was born.
Lawrence
You were
Taylor?
born?
Really?
No. He was drafted in 84. The other guy was drafted in 74.
Mm. You're asking this question to a bunch of people. You always do this, Lucas.
Hey, it is the draft era. You said anything before 1966.
1974.
I know I'm still trying to think.
I'll give you a hint. One of these players we have done for a Who's That Football Player before.
One of them's Carl Banks.
Yes.
He was okay. He was 84. I don't know 74.
I have no idea.
I know 74.
Who is it, Earl?
It's John Hicks.
All right, somebody. No, he already know that. Come on, man.
He said he had to ask his cousin for that.
Look,
he said he had to ask his cousin.
It was John Hicks. He got that one. I got Carl Banks. Do you want me to tell you the colleges they play for?
Nah,
they were both in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I know that. I have it listed here, okay? But I thought it was a relevant question.
Lucas, I did homework with this, and I tried. I didn't have to look it up or anything. It was just talking ball with my cousin.
But you didn't look it up. So what's
he said he had his cousin help him with John Hicks.
I didn't have to. I didn't have to look it up. You telling me you don't have a family member you talk football with?
I do. He's a Steelers fan. He's in pain right now.
Sadly, my family members that I talked football with are dead now.
Oh, okay. All right. With that said,
that got dark.
Yeah, that got dark real quick.
I'm sorry. R.I.P. Uncle Scott. R.I.P. Well, I don't know about Uncle Walter.
R.I.P.
Anyway.
To those who are lost.
Yes.
All right. We wrap it up, guys?
Earl has his prospect of the week.
It will be quick. And everybody got
Earl's thinking about the future.
Somebody's got to. Somebody's got to.
But what about Trey Lance?
Somebody's got to look into the future. All right. So can I go?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All righty. My prospect for this week goes to the Dallas Cowboys in the 2025 NFL Draft. In the third round, the Dallas Cowboys select Jackson Dart, QB from Ole Miss. He's 6'2", 225. I've been able to watch this guy the last couple of years, and he definitely kind of fits the mold of what Dallas would need in a quarterback, especially with what Dak used to do. And one thing that I have with his strengths is he has a really strong arm. He's an explosive runner. His vision downfield is very good. But on the downside, his weakness deals with his footwork, where it could improve on that, as well as his decision making. Now, he's in his 5th year as a senior. He hasn't declared if he's going to go into the draft or not. They're really debating on him coming back for another season. His coach is trying to pitch that, but it's unlikely. Don't know for sure. But if I'm looking into a quarterback that pretty much has a strong arm, who can run, has really good mobility, and if you're not going to re-sign Trey Lance, he would be an option in case Dak goes down again. I'm just looking at it as a whole, where Dak, he's starting to become injury prone, and no, I'm not trying to hinder what he can do when healthy, but at times if he can't complete a full season, you plug in Jackson Dart, you might got someone who could be a successor to Dak Prescott when his contract or whatever they decide to do was up. So yeah, I can see Jackson Dart wearing the star on his helmet.
Look, I've heard things about Jackson Dart possibly being a riser at the combine, from going from a mid-round pick to a second or first round pick.
Yeah, they're really
So just
bolstering this guy. That's why I didn't want him in like the first round because I think it's not fair to what Cam Ward or Sador Sanders is doing. It's like they're really trying to downgrade these guys just for him. And
Mhm.
I just don't think that's okay. I could see Jackson Dart being a later round into the third round. Shoot, there's people say he could probably be in the fourth round. But yeah, if he's rising up, the most that I could see him going is third round.
Well, we will have to wait and see on that. And on that note, let's do some pre-game talk about the next matchups. And I'm going to go first because my team's playing first. So first off, I never like it when our fans do this because it always seems to come back and bite us. Because after the Tampa Bay game, a lot of fans were just huddled up in the hall at the arena saying, "We want Detroit. We want Detroit." We look. That's never a good look. I don't like that. That let's give our opponent some respect here. And I know Earl's laughing because that's exactly what we did to the Cowboys, and that came back and bit us. So look, I don't like that. On that note, Detroit fans are getting a little bit too presumptive here in this matchup because they're talking about, and I saw this radio show for Detroit. They were just talking, you're in our you're just in our way from 60 minutes away from being in the Super Bowl. Like, no, give us some respect here, okay? I think we deserved it. This is going to be the battle of sheer wills among coaches because no two coaches go for more on fourth down than these two guys. Okay, so that's number one. Two, I actually do think we have a fighting chance in here because Detroit, first off, they're despite having a pretty good defense, they don't do well against quarterbacks that run. I mean, they lost to Baker Mayfield, who's not he's a dual threat, but he's not like an elite dual threat guy. And they didn't really play that many dual threat guys. So Jaden Daniels could have a really big game here. Okay. Now the question is, can our defense stop? We bend but did not break against Tampa Bay, who has a pretty good offense. Detroit has a better offense. We will see. Like I said, as long as it's a one possession game in the fourth quarter, I trust Jaden Daniels. And I think we got a shot here. I feel good about look, if we don't win, we don't win. But at the end of the day, I think we do have a shot here, and I think people need to stop underestimating us as a team. Yes, Earl.
I'm gonna be on your good graces, Lucas, and hear me out on this.
Mm-hmm.
From what I saw from last week, if y'all bring that to Detroit, y'all gonna make life rough for Detroit. And what I mean by that is how y'all capitalized on the injuries dealing with the defensive side of Tampa. I can see y'all doing that with Detroit, especially with the injuries they have. And if you keep the ball in Daniel's hands, like he can do his stuff. I nickname him J Dash. So if he does what he does, especially with the RPO, and the X factor in this is going to be Eckler. I think if you get Eckler more involved in there, that's going to open up a lot. And I think with you guys missing him during that time frame that he was out, that really kind of hurt the offense a bit. Now y'all got him. So yeah, I think overall it's going to be a nice matchup. And Dan Quinn, he kind of knows Detroit a bit. And yeah, I think he's going to make it a little rough for Detroit in this. And yeah, they're got Detroit on this, but I would not count out the Commanders and shocking them because of just the uniqueness of how he has the defense playing as well as the offense with the grit as well as attacking, especially with going on fourth down. Like this is gonna be interesting to see which coach is gonna go on fourth down the most, and it's gonna be entertaining on Saturday night.
I think this could very well be the most interesting game of this round. I honestly believe that.
I would look. I would
I know
say.
Maurice
I would
is
say.
over
Look,
there.
Lucas. I would say it's in one of those entertaining. I think the one that's gonna be the most smash mouth is gonna be the Rams and Eagles game.
It could be.
I think it's going to be the Steelers, the Ravens Bills. I think that's going to be the most competitive.
No. I mean in the NFC right.
Oh,
now,
NFC.
I
Okay.
think for them as a whole, yeah. I'm saying for the smash mouth with both because you got studs on defense, and both like to run the ball, and we just gotta see which receivers are gonna go off in this game, and it's almost like an equal match, especially with how well McVay does. And if Sirianni's got a little more control on the offense on this,
When do we get to the Eagles stuff? We haven't gotten there yet.
I'm saying my point because I'm gonna let Maurice do his thing. So I'm done.
Okay, Mal, did you want to add anything to the Commanders
No,
matchup?
I'm good.
Mal, are you? I feel bad. I feel bad because
She's about the
Why do you feel
Ravens
bad?
flock.
It's just like there's not much for you to talk about.
It's all right. I don't mind.
Mal's just like, I'm just here for the show at this point.
I put my 2 cents in.
Okay.
You know the SpongeBob meme. Everybody's when he's looking down and everybody's having fun and she's up top. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. That's me. I'm looking out Squidward. I'm Squidward looking out his house window.
Yeah,
While SpongeBob and Patrick are like, woo.
looking at the Eagles and Commanders in the playoffs.
Mhm.
There we go.
I'm vibing.
Okay. That's Maurice, any thought about the Commanders game, or are you ready to talk about your Eagles?
Good luck. Not really, but good luck.
Wouldn't
hope
you
you have
rather see us versus the Lions in the championship game?
I think that's what America wants.
I would actually prefer playing the Commanders. Yes, we get home field advantage, and we play for the 3rd week in a row. We'll play a team we played before the season.
That does help.
Yeah. So and we owe them one because the last time you beat us, Jalen Hurts was out. So we owe you one.
You play who you play.
So there's a chance the Eagles could go the whole playoffs playing every team during the season if the Ravens gets the Super Bowl. But anyway, the Eagles match up against the Rams here in Philly. Now, before I even get to the real matchup, the Rams are going to have a short week. They have 6 days. Plus, they have to travel across the country. Now, because of the unfortunate wildfires in California, the Rams didn't really have a home game. They were in Arizona. So that sucks for them.
Shout out to the Cardinals for making that feel like the Rams Stadium, though.
Yeah, shout out to them.
But do the Rams really have like a lot of fans?
Arizona's not that far from LA.
No, the visiting teams usually take over the SoFi Stadium, don't they?
I don't. Maybe for Chargers games.
They do it for the Rams games too.
I don't know.
The visiting team fans take over. But anyway,
we took over Tampa Bay's stadium. I know that.
It was allowed. You have represented.
Oh, I did want to point this up, Maurice. Shout out to y'all organization for taking care of that one fan that was rude to the Packers fan.
Oh, yeah. One bad apple doesn't spoil a bunch, but
it's Phillies fans.
One liquored up Eagles fan says something disrespectful to a woman, a Packer fan, and it kind of went viral. Mm-hmm. So in the Eagles organization, they took care of them. They found out who they were. They took care of them. Gave them some Packers merchandise, not Eagles merchandise.
Yeah, they banned that fan for life.
Yeah, good for him.
Yep.
Because you don't want to be disrespectful like that.
Yeah.
Salute to the husband for keeping his composure. I don't know if I would have kept my composure in that situation.
I would have uppercut that brother out of the box. Like I would have kicked that joker out. Yeah. I would have thrown him over the top of the stadium.
Kudos to the woman for keeping her composure too. I'm sure that wasn't easy for her. Of course, then again, I'm not a woman. I can't speak on any thoughts, Mal.
What was that? Speak
any
on thoughts of on that situation?
Yeah.
Oh, listen, there's always bad fans at every game.
Yeah.
Nothing you can really do about it, unfortunately.
Yeah. And also, real quick, shout out AJ Brown. He got caught on the sideline reading a book.
He
boosted that book sales to the #1 bestseller on Amazon.
Yo.
I think it's
I bet you that author's happy and wants to thank him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
All I know, they better get him the ball this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, real quick, matchup. Yeah, I think this is a good matchup for the Eagles. Like Lucas mentioned earlier, both of them have good run games. But here's the difference, though. The Eagles have a great run defense. The Rams don't. Eagles have a better offensive line. Kyron Williams is okay. He's not Saquon Barkley.
Yeah,
Now,
we saw what happened when they matched up in the regular season.
Yeah, Saquon went off. So, I actually think the Eagles are a better team now than they did when they played them before, minus the Kobe Dean injury. I like our matchup. I'm confident in our team. We got home field advantage. Like I mentioned, they got to travel across the country here on 6 days. So I've never been a fan of a Monday night playoff game. It's unfair to the winner, but so be it. That's the way it is in the NFL. But I'm confident in my team. Anybody got any thoughts before we wrap up?
How confident are you in Kellen Moore calling a superb game?
He better improve from what he did last week. I'll say that much. Like I mentioned, Jalen Hurts was a little rusty, but the play calling was pretty much abysmal. So he better get better. He better get right in this game because now we scored 22 points. We need to score 32 points because although I'm confident in our secondary, between Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, one of them might have a 100-yard, 2-touchdown game. So I'm confident.
And their defensive line is no joke either when it comes to rushing the passer.
Jared Verse is a problem. He's going to be a problem for years.
And Braden Fisk as well. They played on that Florida State team that pretty much had a NFL type of defense.
Yeah. Like I said, we played them before. We played both of them. They were both there, and we still had a good game. So I'm confident in the Eagles.
It's gonna be a gritty game, and whoever I think gets to, I'm gonna say 25 will win this.
We'll see.
All right.
Oh, I guess I didn't give predictions for my game either. I predict the Commanders are going to win this one by 1 point.
1 point, okay.
Yeah,
I think
we're going to score. We're going to win by more than a touchdown.
Okay.
All right. Let's wrap this up, guys.
Yeah, Mal, how about you do our outro today?
I got you, guys. So, thank you everybody for listening. Please make sure you follow us and subscribe to us on Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Music. 13 Rings to NFC East Podcast. Make sure you follow us on our socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at 13 Rings to NFC East Podcast. And make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page, 13 Rings to NFC East Podcast. Everyone have a great night and day.
Blessings.
Peace.
Auf Wiedersehen.